All right, let's talk about Khalistan. It's a term that evokes strong emotions. For some, it represents a dream of a Sikh homeland. For others, it brings to mind images of violence and division. We're going to unpack all of that. We'll dive into the history, the politics, the hopes, and the complexities of the Khalistan movement. Buckle up, because this is a long and winding road. Khalistan, literally meaning land of the Khalsa, isn't just a geographical concept. It's an idea rooted in Sikh identity and aspirations. It's about self-determination, about protecting a distinct religious and cultural heritage. To understand Khalistan, we need to rewind the clock. We need to understand the historical context that led to its emergence. Think of it like this. Imagine a community that's faced centuries of challenges, of fighting for its beliefs and way of life. That's the backdrop against which the demand for Khalistan emerged. It's a story of resilience, but also one of pain and unaddressed grievances. So, let's get into it. Let's explore the historical journey of the Sikhs, from their origins to the emergence of this powerful and controversial idea. The Sikh faith emerged in Punjab, a region straddling present-day India and Pakistan. Founded by Guru Nanak in the 15th century, Sikhism preached equality and social justice. It challenged the caste system and emphasized seva, selfless service. Fast forward a few centuries, and the British Empire enters the scene. They saw the Sikhs as a martial race known for their bravery. The British recruited Sikhs heavily into their army. This period saw the formalization of Punjab as a distinct province. This shared experience under colonial rule laid the groundwork for future demands for self-determination. 1947. India gains independence, but it comes at a devastating cost. Partition. The Indian subcontinent is divided along religious lines, creating India and Pakistan. Punjab, the Sikh homeland, is split right down the middle. Imagine the chaos. Millions of people, Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs, are forced to flee their homes in one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Violence erupts. Hundreds of thousands are killed. The Sikhs, caught in the crossfire, witness unimaginable horrors. This event, this brutal cleaving of Punjab, left deep scars on the Sikh psyche. Many felt betrayed by the very leaders who promised them freedom and justice. Their homeland was divided, their sacred sites were split, and their community was scattered. The trauma of partition sowed the seeds of resentment and a longing for a homeland where Sikhs could live without fear. It created a sense of vulnerability, a feeling that their interests were not adequately protected within the newly independent India. This sentiment would fuel the rise of Sikh autonomy movements in the decades that followed. In the aftermath of partition, the demand for a Punjabi-speaking state, or Punjabi Suba, gained momentum. Sikhs felt marginalized within the larger East Punjab state, where they were a minority. They argued that linguistic and cultural rights were being suppressed. The movement, initially peaceful, was met with resistance from the Indian government. Protests were held, demands were made, and tensions simmered. The government saw it as a threat to national unity, fearing that it could embolden separatist sentiments. Finally, in 1966, after years of struggle, the Indian government relented. Punjab was reorganized and a new, smaller Punjab state was created with a Sikh majority. This was a major victory for the Sikh community, a testament to their resilience and political mobilization. But it wasn't a complete victory. Some felt that the reorganization didn't go far enough. They argued that key Sikh religious sites remained outside Punjab's borders and that true autonomy was still elusive. These grievances, coupled with economic disparities and accusations of discrimination, continued to fuel a sense of alienation among some sections of the community. Section 5. The rise of Khalistan, demands and violence. By the 1970s, a more radical demand began to take shape. Khalistan. Fueled by continuing grievances and a perceived lack of progress, the movement gained traction among some sections of the Sikh community, particularly the youth. A key figure in this period was Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale. A charismatic preacher, he spoke out against what he saw as injustices faced by Sikhs. He advocated for greater autonomy and a return to Sikh values. His fiery rhetoric resonated with many, but also raised alarm bells within the Indian government. The situation escalated throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s. There were clashes between Bhindranwale's supporters and the authorities. Violence increased, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty in Punjab. The demand for Khalistan, once a fringe idea, was now at the forefront of the conflict. It's important to note that not all Sikhs supported Bhindranwale or the demand for an independent Khalistan. The movement was deeply divisive, even within the Sikh community. Many advocated for peaceful solutions and condemned the violence. Section 6. Operation Blue Star and its aftermath. The situation in Punjab reached a boiling point in 1984. Bhindranwale and his armed followers occupied the Golden Temple in Amritsar. They fortified the complex, turning it into a base of operations. The Indian government, led by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, decided to take decisive action. In June 1984, they launched Operation Blue Star. The operation was a turning point in the Khalistan movement. The operation resulted in significant casualties and the Golden Temple suffered damage. The aftermath was devastating. Sikhs around the world were outraged, viewing it as an attack on their faith. Anti-Sikh riots erupted across India, targeting Sikhs and their businesses. Operation Blue Star left a deep wound on the Sikh psyche. It fueled anger, resentment, and a desire for revenge. The Khalistan movement found support among the Sikh diaspora. Section 7. Khalistan in Diaspora. Keeping the flame alive. Following Operation Blue Star, many Sikhs fled India, seeking refuge in countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. They carried with them the trauma of 1984 and a burning desire for justice. The Khalistan movement found fertile ground in the diaspora. Gurdwaras, Sikh places of worship, became centres of political activism. Organisations advocating for Khalistan emerged, raising funds and lobbying foreign governments. The internet and social media played a significant role in keeping the Khalistan issue alive. Websites, forums and social media groups provided platforms for Sikhs to connect, share information and mobilise support. However, it's important to note that the Sikh diaspora is not monolithic in its views on Khalistan. While some actively support the movement, many others advocate for dialogue, reconciliation and addressing the underlying grievances that led to its emergence. Section 8. Modern Sikh Identities. Between integration and assertion. Today, the Khalistan movement is a shadow of its former self. The violence in Punjab has largely subsided, and the Indian government has taken steps to address some of the Sikhs' concerns. However, the legacy of the movement continues to shape Sikh identities, both in India and the diaspora. Young Sikhs, many of whom were born after 1984, are grappling with their community's history and its place in the world. There's a growing awareness of Sikh history and identity among young Sikhs. They're proud of their heritage and eager to challenge stereotypes. At the same time, they are also navigating the complexities of integration and assimilation in their respective countries. The challenge for young Sikhs is to find a balance between preserving their cultural and religious identity, while also engaging constructively with the societies they live in. It's about remembering the past, learning from its mistakes, and working towards a more just and equitable future. Section 9. Legacy and Future, Seeking Justice and Understanding. The Khalistan movement, despite its failures and the violence that engulfed Punjab, left an indelible mark on India and the Sikh community. It forced a conversation about minority rights, religious freedom, and the limits of state power. The events of 1984, particularly Operation Blue Star and the anti-Sikh riots, remain a source of pain and anger for many Sikhs. The demand for justice for the victims and accountability for those responsible continues to resonate. Moving forward, it's crucial to foster understanding and dialogue. Acknowledging the pain and suffering caused by the conflict is essential for healing and reconciliation. Openly addressing historical injustices and promoting interfaith harmony are crucial steps in preventing such tragedies from happening again. The story of Khalistan is a complex one, filled with tragedy, resilience, and a search for identity. It's a reminder of the importance of addressing grievances, protecting minority rights, and ensuring that all communities feel safe and respected within a diverse society.